We're here going to talk a little bit about a game that I've been playing for quite a bit of time now, Mania Planet. They just recently went out with Shootmania, which is actually in closed beta and this is some gameplay footage of the only game mode that I've found so far, which is to I'm not really sure of the technical name. You could call it King of the Hill. I guess it's King of the Hill, but basically it's a free for all where the centerpiece, which is always a control point, can be captured. Once it is captured, an invisible, not really invisible, a white circle starts to encroach on the area until finally there's only about 6 meters in diameter circle around the control point where you can exist. Otherwise, you're knocked out if you touch the walls. I mean, so it's an interesting game mode. My only gripe with it is I still haven't found the other game mode, like the one in the tournament that they so vehemently showed off during the last event of Shootmania. But in any case, it showcases what Shootmania is all about. So as you can see from the footage, Shootmania is all about you're a person in Shootmania. You're a guy wearing a special suit that lets him shoot 4 rockets. To be able to beat somebody in this mode, to knock somebody out in this mode, you must hit at least be hit by 2 rockets. The first rocket, I believe, removes half your health, and the second rocket will knock you out of the game. So the interesting thing about Shootmania is that there's no persistence in the system. The only thing that persists in between games is the amount of skill and maybe a little bit of luck here and there. But other than that, it's all skill. So the statistics, the math, that is the things you're allowed to do as a character do not change based on how long you've played. To some people, this may be a plus. To others, like RPG fans out there, might not be so hot on the topic. But that's a whole nother can of worms that we don't need to go into. Just enjoy the format so far. So the thing about this is the thing about Shootmania is it's basically a parkour style combat where you move around, and then in the middle of all these fancy motions to get around really fast, you have to somehow shoot down your target, predict their motions, predict where your rockets are going to fly, and make them hit somehow. It's not exactly the easiest moves to pull off, but when you finally do shoot somebody, or even that random shot in the air, it can prove to be very interesting. So, unlike in other games, where there are a lot of complicated buttons, and as you might have seen already by this point, I do repeatedly press R because apparently my brain still thinks like in the normal FPS, where I have to stop every now and again to reload, which apparently in this game it just brings up the replay folder where you're supposedly I can set up new replays, which I really didn't want to do at the time. But besides the point, all you need to know is it's basically just WASD to move, WASD to move, and spacebar to jump. Now, the different thing about Shootmania is the spacebar also acts as your dodge meter. Also uses up your dodge meter. So dodge meter is a special function here in Shootmania. When you jump and you hold down the spacebar, you go into a special mode which drains a secondary bar, which for now I will have to assume is some sort of adrenaline bar. While this is active, you have a slight movement advantage compared to somebody who's just normally walking around. You have a lot more control over your motion, even in mid-flight, and you sort of hover in the middle of the air too, which actually makes it much harder to predict your motion. Besides all of these benefits during this mode, if you are running in a straight line, holding down this button does increase the speed at which you can sprint forward in a straight line, which is important when in some cases you want to rush over to the control point because of the ever closing circle. Besides this, the space bar, you have to watch out for how you use it, because it takes quite a bit of time for the cooldown to finish so that it can finally start recharging. You have to be very, very careful about this, and the same can be applied for your rockets, because the only time the rockets reload is when you stop firing for a set amount of time. In many cases, you will want to fill this up to full, but in the case of a complete deathmatch where you cannot wait for your teammates to stop by and keep them at bay while yours recharges and they can offload everything that they've got. You can't do that, such a thing, so it's a lot more tactical in this mode, because you have to wait and you need to weigh the costs, because sometimes it actually makes more sense to shoot when you have 2 rockets rather than 1, because you know you can get the shot. The same can be applied about dodging. For some people, they only dodge when they fill up their bar, but in some cases it may not be the optimal solution. Sometimes you have to dodge immediately just to get out of the situation and put yourself into a very good spot. My only gripe about this mode, and I have a bunch of gripes about this mode, but the biggest gripe I have about this mode is the fact that once it gets down to the circle where basically it becomes a shoot fest, it becomes really boring, because the control point acts as a asynchronous piece in the puzzle. Because what happens is it's a very long rod, and it gets in the way of most of the rockets, especially when it gets really hectic inside the circle. This becomes a really big problem, because if both players are really good, they look kind of silly, moving back and forth from the rod and trying to shoot in between the rod, and sometimes just the lucky shot ends up getting through, which is it sounds tactical in theory, but I don't think it makes for a very nice experience to watch. So there's a lot of interesting ways that this can go about, and in any case, the game mode itself is well made, and I hope that Mania Planet can pull off a bit more technical edge, because I like the team play better, and I don't think this mode specifically showcases what Shootmania has to offer in terms of team play. In any case, though, I think it's a good mode. I have no confidence in this mode during the final product, because it's kind of dumb. Sometimes I would rush up to the center, pull back a bit, and then just shoot around the center point to get some shots off. I didn't even need to aim, because I knew they were headed for the center, and all I had to do was dodge out of the rockets that were aimed at me, which was pretty rare if you kept out of the way of everybody. In any case, the game mode is a bit simple, in my opinion, and the tactics involved and how you have to focus on the center and move around and have to watch out on all directions because of the enemy is very, very tactical. It's just that I am not so the randomness of it, the amount of random moments where suddenly a random rocket that somebody threw off somewhere, or maybe you just run into somebody because there's no clear direction of where you really need to go before the circle arrives. It becomes a bit of a problem, and I'm not sure that making the stages complicated really helps the situation. In any case, though, good job, Shootmania, and I hope that for future reference you can come up with a bit more technicality. I really love the 3 versus 3 mode that was pulled out before. I hope that returns, and obviously it will. Went really well. And the other weapons as well, because everybody just playing around with rockets is fun and all, but I'd really like a bit of asynchronicity. And it's a bit of a give and take here, and I wish that the game mode had a bit more focus, because the stages they look better for a 3v3 rather than a simple deathmatch. In my opinion, these maps are a bit too complicated and don't really add to the experience. Maybe a few humps here and there may help, but putting too many choke points really hurts the experience, because you end up being so sure that they're going to be in that area, free shots everywhere, and it doesn't become fun at that point. In any case, the way to win in this mode is to outlast your opponents, to get as many shots as possible, and through all of these points that you accumulate, the first person to accumulate the max number of points for the round, which in this case would be 200 points, wins the round. No, you are not playing as a team, you are playing as an individual, so there's a score ranking at the end, as you might have seen a couple of times already, which shows off this kind of play. And I have to be honest, it is quite fun, and I had a blast playing through it. I just wish that I could try out the other modes, but it's a shame that only like something like 8 people in my country have been able to play. So there's nobody who has the technical know-how to start up a server for Shootmania, and we don't even have enough players anyway to take advantage of that fact. Anyway, Shootmania. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me fail so hard in this game, because I tried my best, but I just can't handle the kind of shooting and the amount of lag that I'm getting, because I'm playing in and I thought it would be fine, but in any case, for any Australians out there, thanks for letting me use your server, and I don't think you expected me to make a video of it, but there it is, and I hope that Shootmania keeps doing what it does, because I really love the feel of the movement and the weapons and everything. In any case, this is Wire, and yeah, just tell me what you think. If you want more Shootmania, I might try to get some more, but I'm running low on my beta pass, and I think this is a very good way to show off what it has to offer at this moment. So besides that, Shootmania, you did a good job. Maybe you could do better. I know you can do better, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Extreme Wirehead, if you want to watch my other stuff, it's right over there, but in the whatever it is, a side thing. In any case, I'll catch everybody later. Peace.